Hello, and welcome to episode 4. Okay, we're gonna do more of what we did last episode. So, if you can do that all yourself, go ahead, skip this video, do it all yourself. But last time we left off with, we got through to the races. And we did the Dwarven race, but we didn't do any of the other races. So let's go ahead and complete that. Alright, so here's the basic rulebook. Here's a code. So, scroll down. Oh, I forgot there's like a delay on this. Classes. Oh, we didn't get that far. We're on races. Okay, so here's the dwarf on page 12. We finished that. So now we're on elves. Good fun. By the way, I also forgot to tell you at the end of last video to commit. You should always be committing. Okay, so elf. Okay, kind of useless stuff. Here we go. Elf traits. Okay, age attribute, alignment attribute. It's been a few weeks since I've done this. So race attribute has all the races. Okay. Oh yeah, and we created the sort of framework for all the elf races. But we need to actually implement this. So if you go to your elf attribute, we'll want to add some stuff. So first off, your dexterity score increases by 2. Okay. So we want dexterity score attribute dexterity equals character dot attributes dot of type dexterity score attribute, and we want the first of those components. Alright, so now we have the dexterity score attribute component. We could just say dexterity dot value plus equals 2, and that'll add 2 to it. Alright, done. What did we decide to do about age? I think we're going to have the player enter that in, so we don't actually have to worry about that here. Okay. Alignment, that's another player choice. But one thing that is required is size to be medium. So we have to do basically the same thing. So we get our size attribute. Size equals character dot attributes dot of type, and we want our size attribute, and we want the first of those. Cool. Then we just say size dot size is medium, because all elves are medium size. Okay, done. Speed. So speed attribute speed equals character. So you can really skip this video if you know what you're doing. And speed's gonna be 30. Alright, we have dark vision of 60 feet. That's dope. So for the dwarf, yeah, it literally works the same way. Dark vision attribute. And 60 is the value for that. Alright. Keen senses. You have proficiency in the perception skill. Okay. Well, what we've done for the past is we just added a new component. So we'll do that. Right click on your dungeon main project, say add class. And we'll call this keen senses attribute. Make sure it's public. Inherit from attribute component. Alright, and then we have to pass in the name. Which will just be keen senses. That'll be all for now. So now we need to add that to the race. Whoa. And close everything else. Close all but this. That's cool. Alright. So we need to add that component. So we'll say character dot attributes dot add and new keen senses attribute. And done. Alright. Fey Ancestry. You have advantage on saving throws against being charmed, and magic can't put you to sleep. So we have to do the exact same thing. Class. Make a public. Inherit from attribute component. And give it a name. Easy. Let's add a comment. So just put a triple slash above the class. And I'm going to copy paste from the rules. Just so we know. I forgot to do this with the last class we made, so I'm going to go back to keen senses and do the same thing. Okay, so now we have to go back to the race attribute.cs and we have to add that attribute. looks like I left out the name attribute, so I have to rename this. You can do this most easily if you rename the actual file name. And then you say yes to this question. And that will cause a project-wide rename of it. Alright, trance. Elves don't need to sleep. Instead, they meditate deeply, remaining semi-conscious for 4 hours a day. I don't think we really care about that for this game, so I'm not going to add that, but feel free to do as you wish. Alright, you can speak, read, and write Common and Elvish. Okay, so we need to add two languages here. So character.attributes.add new language attribute, and we want to set the value to be common. And do the same thing, but with Elvish. Okay. Subrace. Ancient divides among the Elven people resulted in 3 main subraces: High Elves, Wood Elves, and Dark Elves, who are commonly called Drow. Looks like we only included the High Elf and Wood Elf because that's all that's in this book. But if you want to add the Drow, go right ahead. So, High Elves. Oh, hold on. At the end of our adjust racial traits for the general elf, we need to make sure to call the impl, which will basically call this function for the child races, the subraces. By the way, impl stands for implementation. This is just kind of a standard little programming pattern, because we have adjust racial traits, and we call the impl, which will cause functions in the subraces to be called. So, in the High Elf attribute, we need to increase our intelligence score by 1. Alright, so we'll do character.attributes.type of, or of type, sorry. IntelliSense is great, you can just catch things like that. Of type, intelligence score attribute dot first and preface that with intelligence score attribute intelligence equals that. Cool. And now we just say intelligence dot value plus plus, which will add 1 to it. Alright, awesome. Next up, elf weapon training. You have proficiency with the long sword, short bow, and long bow. That's pretty cool. Okay, we've got armor armor proficiency attribute, we got weapon proficiency attribute. So what we need is to add more weapon types. So, yeah, right now this is just an enum, but I'm kind of expecting in the future we'll actually have classes for each of these, because, you know, there's different properties for a battle axe versus a hand axe versus a light hammer versus a war hammer. But we'll get to that later. I don't really want to spend time right now on that. Okay, so longsword is something that we need. Now, we need a short sword. We need short bow. And a longbow. And that's all. I'm just gonna save all really quick. Okay. Now you can go back to your race attribute class file, and in the high elf attribute we want to add all of those weapon types. So we do character dot attributes dot add new weapon proficiency attribute, and we say weapon equals weapon type dot short sword. Oh, no semicolon until after. Yeah, there we go. And I'm going to copy paste this line a few times. And we need the longsword. We need the short bow. And we need the longbow. Okay. Elf weapon training done. Cantrip. You know one cantrip of your choice from the wizard spell list. Intelligence is your spell casting ability for it. Ooh. Alright, we're gonna skip that for now. We'll come back to it. We'll add a note here. At to do is what I like to do. Just add a comment with at to do, and then later you can search for at to do and find all the things that you need to do. So add elf cantrip. Alright. And you get an extra language. Of your choice. Okay. Well, let's leave that out, because we don't really care about that for the game. That just complicates things. Just thinking about what to do. Alright, so for the wood elf, we're going to increase the wisdom by 1. Wow, 20 minutes already. Okay, well, we'll be done after the elves, I guess. So wisdom score attribute, wisdom. This character. Yeah, I'm not doing another hackathon today, because I've got other stuff to do. Alright, just increase the wisdom by 1. Alright, elf weapon training. Oh, the exact same as the high elf, so we could just copy paste all that. Speed increases to 35. Okay. So we need a speed attribute. Get that from the character. You know the drill by now. We'll just set it to 35. Okay. And remember, this happens after we set it to 30, so we're good. Sets it to 30, and then it's like, oh, wait a minute, we're a wood elf. JK. Alright. Mask of the Wild. You can attempt to hide even when you are only lightly obscured by foliage. Heavy rain, falling snow, mist, and other natural phenomena. This is another one I'm going to skip. Okay, that's all for this video. So, thank you, and ta-ta.